what we've announced today is a $14 billion bottom line budget improvement over the forward estimates.
We have improved the budget position by more than $1 billion, comparing the pre-election outlook to the costings that we release today.
Debates over two very different sets of numbers are dominating the last days of the 2025 election campaign. There's the policy costings, now released by both sides of politics, particularly today's release of the coalition's costings.
If we can grow the economy faster than what is assumed here, we'll get a better position.
Higher taxes, savage cuts and still bigger deficits under the coalition in their costings today.
Then there's an extraordinary debate that's cut loose among pollsters about where the votes will end up on Saturday night. After several years of being burned by inaccurate predictions, there have been some huge calls today, including Labor possibly being returned with even more seats, or the coalition's position being salvaged somewhat by minor party preferences. But all the polls point to gloom for the coalition, provoking defensiveness from Peter Dutton and some preemptive recriminations about who is to blame for what has almost universally been regarded as a disastrous campaign.
This election really is a referendum not about the election campaign but about the last 3 years of government. Are you better off today than you were 3 years ago?
We take nothing for granted. No Prime Minister has been re-elected in this country having served a full term since 2004.
Pollster John Scales reported this week that One Nation and Trumpet of Patriots preferences in outer suburban seats in our major cities are flowing at a rate of up to 90% to the coalition, much higher than in the past, and suggested this might help the opposition win some of those seats.
I think One Nation preferences can be helpful to the coalition in those outer suburban seats. I think there are some former Labor voters who might go to One Nation, but the volume of these votes is not enormous.
The main problem in the preference vote story is the coalition's primary vote. An aggregate of polling results by the website Poll Bludger shows the coalition's primary vote is now 33.3%, down 2.4% since the last election, and a staggering 4.4% collapse since the budget.
They have been losing primary vote through the campaign. A tiny bit of that's gone to Labor, but a lot more of that has gone to that kind of independent other category.
Labor's primary vote, by contrast, has actually risen during the campaign. It's still lower than the coalition's primary vote, but Labor has long been able to win government with a lower primary vote because of the wall of Green preferences it has attracted.
About 85% of Greens voters end up preferencing Labor over the coalition, and that rate has actually been getting higher over time. It does play a crucial role for Labor in turning what would otherwise be a losing position into a winning position, is getting all of those preferences.
One thing that is definitely not clear is whether being responsible with the budget changes votes these days. The coalition has long claimed to be the superior economic manager, and over time, polls suggested that voters believed that. But voter questions over the cost of the coalition's nuclear plan and uncertainty about the global economic outlook, thanks to Donald Trump, has undermined that. Today, Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor was seeking to shore up coalition credentials.
Thank you very much.
The overall savings the coalition is proposing of $14 billion, assuming that all the numbers stack up, represents a saving of about 8% against a budget deficit that's supposed to total $145 billion over the 4 years to 2028-29. But perhaps more significantly, the coalition's actually proposing bigger budget deficits over the first 2 years of the forward estimates period, offset supposedly by savings of around $20 billion on net over the second half of the 4-year forward estimates period. So it's really buy now, pay later.
Somewhere along the way, it seems to have become an accepted wisdom that costings don't get released until days or hours before polling day.
I think a desirable reform might actually be to have the Parliamentary Budget Office do its own costings of policies announced by both sides of politics during the election campaign if they can, rather than releasing something about 3 months afterwards, as the PBO currently does, in circumstances where, in particular, the promises made by the party which has lost the election are really irrelevant.